On first down, here's another pick. And that's Harris again. Down the sideline, Harris is into the end zone.
Guys, I look so crazy right now, but Eric just got his second interception for the night. Come on, Eric. That's what I'm talking about.
It's a really tough industry to break into. And I tell people, find a player that will trust you, a player that may be under the radar or lower rank that doesn't have a lot of agents pursuing them. And once you get one player to believe in you, it kind of all trickles down.
Hey, where can I find the West VIP entrance? I'm trying to get on the field. Did you hear him ask if I was a girlfriend? He said, are you a player's wife? And I was like, no, I'm an agent. They have female agents? And I was like, they do. Shocking, I know, but they do. Hello? Yep, no problem. I will take care of it.
The agency that I started with was Players Rep Sports Agency, and then Lil Wayne purchased our agency. So even that young money seems like it's new. The agency's technically been around for about 21 years. Sorry about that. 84-yard pick six. Working with Lil Wayne has been awesome. He knows he's a rapper, and he's a great rapper, and he knows that he's not an agent. And I appreciate that. He decided to find people that he believed in to do the agent work, and that's what I've done with 5 other phenomenal agents. This is really a new thing that has come kind of in the sports industry. You see these rappers that have got in. Jay-Z's got in. Years ago, Master P jumped in. People aren't comfortable by it because they don't get it. There is such a natural intersection of music and sports. I think that we're going to change really the landscape of sports moving forward.
First down for Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Jackson, end zone, touchdown! Seth Roberts climbs the imaginary ladder.
Seth Roberts, he was the first player to ever believe in me, and we're still working together today, and I'm so grateful for that. He has no idea how he changed the trajectory of my career, how he has affected other women that will come behind me, and that one decision is a domino effect to what is to come. And then I signed Corey Nelson. Jordan Evans at OU was my very first draft pick. He was supposed to go undrafted. He didn't get a combine invite, didn't get a Senior Bowl invite. And then the year after that, I had Malik Jefferson, which was my first 100 pick, which is awesome. And then I had Emeka Boulay, Quincy Williams, who was in the 3rd round, a bunch of veterans kind of in between there.
Hello, Eric Harris.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How's it going? I studied at the University of Oklahoma, and I received a business degree there. I also went to the University of Oklahoma College of Law, where I graduated in the top of my class with honors and got my Juris Doctorate. And now I practice civil litigation as well as I do sports.
A lot of reps these days.
A lot of reps. You know, it's funny though, your play time percentage, we got to check that. That's like not a joke.
I know.
Like we need to get to, I think it's 75 or 80% for the max bonus.
I think I get 70.
Okay, that's not bad. We can do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like an extra million. But anyway, no big deal. Isn't that crazy?
I need that.
When you're interviewing agents and you're a first round pick or a top veteran, all of the agents are qualified, right? Yeah, this person's done this contract, this person's done that contract, but most of us are attorneys and most of us can negotiate. And to me, that's just the bare minimum. And so I think what sets me apart is that I do that, but I focus a lot more on what's after that contract. Contract takes what, a month, 3 days, depending on if it's a draft pick or whatnot, 3 days. And then you have a guy for 4 years. The 4 years is what's real important. Treating every single client like they are the number 3 draft pick. Any of my clients will tell you, most of them went undrafted. I built my business and my practice around guys that I believe in that maybe went undrafted but make millions now. And I treat them the exact same way as I treat Quentin Williams.
For me, football is a love and a hate. It's an emotional roller coaster. Since I became an agent, I've never been able to just sit down and watch a game like I used to. Like, there's no way. Like, I have a million things going through my mind. I'm thinking about how one guy's doing over the other, and okay, now we've got a new comp for, you know, this contract, and so, yeah, the fan thing is totally out. I wish. I definitely wish.
Like, of course, it starts raining. Like, I can't make this up.
Quentin reached out to me. He found me through this speech that I gave, and in that speech, I talked a bunch about recruiting my first player. And when I'm recruiting this player, I go to his game and I'm like standing out in the rain, waiting for him to come out, hoping that he'll talk to me. And he comes out and he realizes that I don't look like Jerry Maguire. And he hysterically laughs, literally a laugh that I will never forget the rest of my life. And he walks off. This is like my very first experience recruiting. It's my birthday and I drove 6 hours to meet this kid. It's just a whole nightmare. And Quentin found the speech and I remember him telling me, I watched that speech and I thought, I want an agent that's gonna go that hard for me every single day. I think Quentin and I come from very similar backgrounds. He obviously lost his mom at a very young age. I grew up with a mom who was more like a sister. And so we both kind of were in situations where we were raising ourselves. He did not grow up with a silver spoon in his mouth, and neither did I. It's just a different way to relate to a player because I lived through some of the same things that he lived through. And there was the elephant in the room and I attacked it immediately. Never had a first rounder, and you would be the first. I think Quentin realized that he was going to be a top 3 pick, whether it was me or whether it was the big name agents. Didn't matter, right? But it gave him an opportunity. He could be a top 3 pick or he could be a top 3 pick that changes the trajectory of women in sports. I don't know what 20-year-old thinks like that, but Quentin Williams came forward with that. To me, it makes me emotional. It's because it's so powerful. It's like he knew his worth.
Give it up for Nicole Lynn and Quentin Williams, potentially the #1 NFL draft pick.
Yes, sir.
Right? And then also the first black woman to represent a potential top 5 draft pick.
Yes, I am.
What if someone's trying to follow your path, would you tell them now that you learned?
Save up a lot of money, a lot of capital. If I'm being transparent with you, it costs a lot of money for an athlete. And let's not even talk about a first-round draft pick, right? Like a mid-level guy. You've got to pay for all of their training up front. You've got to house them before the draft. I mean, we're talking $25,000 to $50,000 that you invest that you never get back. So if you invest in a guy that doesn't get drafted, you lose all that money.
Wow.
And so the most important thing is to have capital. You can't do this job without money. And I hate to say that. So I recommend to anyone that wants to be an agent, make it a side hustle at first. And then, when you make a side hustle, eventually it can become your full-time
I didn't realize
career.
agents fronted that.
Wow, I
In
never
All
knew
the
between,
money
there.
period.
All the money.
Never knew
Even
that.
if you're with an agency, everybody's like their own business owner. So anything I spend, it's from me. It's not from my agency. And you don't ask, when we train Quentin or whoever else, we don't ask them to pay it back, right? It's an investment into their future. And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of coins.
And do you like New York? I mean, the Jets are picking at 3, and
They are.
the
We
Jets
might
are.
be seeing you a lot.
I visited the Jets like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, and it was just amazing up there, man.
The 2019 NFL Draft is now officially open.
So the draft you have to get invited to. So this is the very first time I was ever invited.
I am in the green room of the NFL Draft.
When I walked in, I immediately felt emotional. If I'm being honest, I felt super emotional. It felt like, how in the world did I get here?
In a couple hours, we will be in here waiting for the name to be called.
Even sitting there with him, there were a lot of mixed emotions. Like, I was excited, but I was also very fearful because anything can happen. What if this doesn't go the way that we planned? What if this doesn't go like I have prepared him for? A lot of imposter syndrome. A lot of, is somebody gonna kick me out? At any moment, someone's gonna ask me if I was his girlfriend, or if I'm the wife, or if I could take their plate. I had just had this weird fear that something like that was gonna happen, or how did I get in? Those are the things that were going through my mind, and excitement, obviously.
The New York Jets select Quentin Williams, nose tackle, Alabama.
When you're going to the draft, they give you a certain amount of seats, and so, I had sat down and I talked to Quentin about who he wanted at those seats. He made his list of the people that were most important to him in his life, and we turned that list into the NFL. And then I also turned in, on that 14th chair, I put empty chair. The NFL called me and they said, well, we're really confused, what is this empty chair for? And I said, well, I need it to be there. So I need you just to make sure it's there. And they're like, okay, crazy girl. I wanted to make sure that there was a chair there for his mom. His mom had passed away when he was 12. I felt like this is the biggest moment of his life, and he needed to feel like she was there. And so I woke up early that morning and snuck into the green room, if we're being honest here. Literally snuck into the green room, and I had got like flowers and this memorabilia thing made because that was going to be her seat. And when Quentin got there, he was so grateful. He was so grateful. To me, it was just important for him to feel like she was included, no matter what that meant. That's how important it was.
But if you guys have any issues at all, I'll be there. I'll be on the sideline before the game. So reach out to Brandon. She's got my contact if anything happens. Everybody got their ticket? Good to go on that? Yeah? Okay, great.
My goal as an agent is to allow my players to play their sport. That's their job. Anything that I can do to make that easier on them, I'm gonna do. I wear a lot of hats. I'm an agent, I'm a life coach, I'm a manager, I'm an apartment shopper.
So this is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath, fully furnished apartment.
So everything
All
I
your
see
pots and pans and
it comes with
silverware.
it.
Yeah, everything would be inside the suite for them.
So for Q, I went to New Jersey, I went to several apartments to see which one was the best, and I helped him narrow those down without him having to be there. I did the legwork for him, and I do that for my guys, period, because their job is to play football.
Like my hands are like shaking. You would think this was like my first game. I do this all the time, but anyway. I get way too invested.
Play action, Fitzpatrick under pressure, and he goes down. He had no chance. Quentin Williams comes untouched.
I make sure that my clients utilize every opportunity that they can. You know, finishing school. The NFL, PA, and the NFL will pay for a guy to go back to school, but we've got to make the initiative to get the paperwork done and to get him enrolled. And so I'm going to make sure that any single thing out there beyond the contract, they're going to get. For example, Sleep Number is the NFL's sleep and wellness partner, and they give every active NFL player a Sleep Number mattress, which is awesome. And so I make sure that all my guys have a Sleep Number, you know, because they've got to get the best sleep. Sleep is so crucial today. I teach them certain life skills, and so they have to learn these life skills by the end of their rookie year, and they graduate. It's a program that I've created, and some of the life skills are how to tip at a restaurant. Yeah, it sounds real basic to us, but when I go out with my players, when I first sign them, they don't always know how to tip. This last week, we did email drafting. Okay, so I sat with Quentin and my other rookies, and I explained to them the difference between CC and BCC and subject line. And then I require them to only email me for a week. So if they text me, I'm not responding, because I want them to practice. They've got to learn how to change a tire. They have to learn how to tie a tie, because I'm trying to build up a player and a man that does not need me. Because I grew up in poverty, because I grew up in the hood, there's so many situations when I was in college where somebody asked me how to order a steak. I didn't know how to order a freaking steak, right? There's so many life skills that I did not know because I didn't grow up with parents, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. And so I promised myself that I would never let my players be in that position. They're not gonna need me, and that's what I'm doing. I'm building up men that don't need me, don't need anybody. Some of the first pieces of advice I got as an agent was to just blend in, just blend in. And that might have been the worst advice I have ever gotten. Because if I blend in, then I am never creating a real path for the women that come behind me. And so I've made, again, deliberate decision not to cover and to be exactly who I am. And so that person is a woman that wears 5-inch heels and red lipstick on the daily. And that's what I'm gonna look like at the combine, and that's what I'm gonna look like on the sideline of a football game if I choose to. It's critical that I make people comfortable with what feminism is in sports, whether it's in sports or it's in the workplace. Be who you are so that when the person that is very similar to you comes behind you, it's 10 times easier.
In the building. Hello, what up, dude?
What I think it's gonna take to open up the world to more women is athletes giving more women a shot. It is on them to give us a seat at the table. I challenge athletes to give an interview to a woman every single time. They choose someone else, that's fine, but give them an opportunity to be in the room. You know, I always say if I can get in the room, I can win. A lot of it is gonna fall on the players realizing that a change needs to be made and that the power is literally in their hands to do so.
Everyone is Agent Nicole Lynn. I am at the Raiders-Rams game at the Coliseum. Super excited to see a couple of my clients.
Okay, I am headed to football game to meet a recruit. Now I'm hearing these crazy rumors that they could take Dwayne Haskins, which just honestly throws the whole draft, a wrench in the whole draft.
This is kind of my life, and I'm hoping to get on a red-eye home so I can go back into the office in the morning.
So many women, minority women, and even men message me and tell me, hey, you've made me feel like I can do this. By watching what you do gives me hope, and it makes me feel so great that what I am doing is not in vain. I want to mentor every person that I can, but it's impossible. And so I try to use my social media as a platform to mentor thousands at a time. And everybody knows that I am very open on my social media about everything I do as an agent. And for some people, it's super annoying. But for others, they recognize what I'm doing. I am trying to open doors and give exposure to a job that usually was just for white men and nobody knew how to get in. I'm not going to allow those barriers of entry to still be up. Instead, I'm going to give you the key to the door. Now, whether you walk in, whether you unlock it, that's on you, but you're going to have the recipe for success. They call it the trailblazer effect, the person that gets to the top and they want to be up there by themselves. And I'm like, no, I'm never going to be that person. If I'm not using my platform for good, then it's a wasted platform.